The war zone was quiet in the way only a dying battlefield could be. No one spoke. No one moved. Not because the fight was over, but because both sides were too exhausted to continue. Two alien empires, once proud, strong, and arrogant, now floated in space like broken animals licking their wounds. Ships drifted without power. Fires burned inside shattered hulls. Crew members lay hidden behind damaged bulkheads, praying their enemies would not find them first. For months they had fought over this system, a place no one would have cared about if not for the rare minerals inside the nearby asteroid belt. Both empires believed victory here would turn the entire war in their favor. But now, victory felt like a distant dream. The Vordak Empire, known for their brutal soldiers and heavy armor, had lost nearly 70% of their fleet. Their commander, General Korvac, sat in his cracked command chair, staring at the flickering screen. Sweat ran down his rough, gray skin as warning alarms beeped around him. Across the system, the Hellion Dominion, a species famous for their speed and advanced sensors, was in no better shape. The Hellion flagship limped through space, its once sleek surface now covered in burns and holes. Inside, their captain, Saris Valon, gripped the rail tightly as smoke filled the bridge. Neither side had the strength for another attack. They were stuck in a strange moment, both waiting for the other to collapse first. And then the silence broke. Commander Korvac, a Vordak officer, shouted, "We are receiving something, a signal." Korvac frowned. "Hellion message." "No, sir, not Hellion, and not from any known empire." That got his attention. On the other side of the war zone, aboard the Hellion ship, the same message appeared on their screens. Officers exchanged confused looks. "Unknown transmission detected," a Hellion sensor technician said, her voice shaky. "No signature, no language, nothing we can identify." Captain Saris felt a sharp chill run down her spine. Put it on the main display. Static filled the screen. The same static appeared on the Vordak flagship. Across the entire war zone, both armies watched the same flickering message, something trying to break through centuries of alien technology. Something ancient, something strong, something human. But no one knew that yet. The signal grew stronger. The static began to form shapes, shadows of tall figures, silhouettes that did not match any species known in the galaxy. The message repeated again and again, growing clearer each time. A low, calm voice spoke. "Help!" The word was weak, broken, almost whispered, but it was enough. Every ship, Vordak and Hellion alike, froze. The warriors looked at each other in fear, confusion, and something deeper, curiosity. Korvac leaned forward. "Play it again." Voice repeated. "Help us, they are coming." Hellion officers exchanged worried glances. "Who is coming?" someone whispered. No one had an answer. The message ended with a sound that made every alien stiffen, a strange, ancient noise, almost like metal grinding against metal. It repeated, echoing through space like a ghost from another age. Then silence. The Vordak officer swallowed nervously. "Sir, what do we do?" Korvac didn't respond. He simply stared at the screen, feeling something he had not felt since he was a young warrior: fear. Across the system, Captain Saris tried to calm her crew. But she felt the same thing. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Something was coming, something powerful, something no one understood. Before either side could react, every sensor in the system began to scream. A new signature was entering the battlefield. No, not one, not two, but many. And these signatures were massive, larger than dreadnoughts, larger than command carriers. Something enormous was pushing into real space, ripping open hyperspace like it was paper. Korvac stared in horror. What size is that?" he demanded. The Vordak sensor officer's voice cracked. "Sir, it is impossible. The readings, they are bigger than cities." On the Hellion bridge, Captain Saris shouted, "Scan it." Her technician shook her head. "I can't, the energy output is too high. It's overloading our systems." Across the battlefield, the space around them began to glow. Bright white cracks appeared in the void, twisting and bending reality. It looked like the fabric of space itself was tearing open. Then, in a blinding flash, something came through. A ship. A ship so enormous, so advanced, so intimidating that both empires stopped breathing. The vessel's hull was dark and sharp, covered in glowing blue lines. 4 colossal engines burned like small suns. The front of the ship bore a symbol no alien recognized, a white eagle spread across the metal surface. A second ship appeared, then a third, then 100, an entire fleet, silent, precise, terrifying. The Vordak stared in disbelief. Who are they? The Hellions asked the same question. None of them knew the answer, but legends existed, old stories about a race that disappeared long ago. A race known for their intelligence, their anger, and their unmatched power. Humans. But the aliens didn't dare speak the word yet. Inside the Hellion flagship, Captain Saris whispered, "Are we seeing ghosts?" Her officer replied, "Ghosts do not have a fleet, Captain." On the Vordak side, General Korvac slammed his fist on the armrest. All ships power weapons, raise shields, but nothing happened. Vordak engineers panicked. Weapons overheating, systems failing. Hellion ships had the same problem. "Captain, our energy levels are dropping. Something is draining us." The human fleet had not fired a single shot. They had not sent a single message. Yet every alien system was shutting down. The battlefield was not theirs anymore. Then the human flagship sent a message. A single sentence. A voice so calm and cold that it sent chills down every alien spine. "You are in violation of human protection protocol." The message repeated across every ship, every channel, every speaker. Korvac felt his throat tighten. Protection? Protection of what? Captain Saris finally spoke the word everyone was afraid to say. Humans. Her crew fell silent. They knew the stories. Humans were strange, unpredictable creatures. They lived fast, fought hard, and never surrendered. Long ago they had explored the galaxy and built alliances. But then they disappeared. No one knew why. Now they were back, and they were angry. Without warning, the human fleet moved. Hundreds of ships aligned in a perfect attack formation. Engines burned bright as they accelerated with impossible speed. Their weapons glowed with energy so powerful it felt like the air itself trembled. But even now they did not fire. They only waited. It was worse than any attack. Vordak's soldiers trembled. "General, they are staring at us." Hellion officers whispered they want something. But no one knew what. Then the message changed. A new sentence appeared, shorter, sharper, colder, "Stand aside." No explanation, no details, just a command. Korvac shouted, "We cannot stand aside, this is our battlefield." Saris said the same on her side. "We have no safe path to retreat." Neither side was prepared for what came next. Human ships activated a strange field, blue waves of energy that spread across space like ripples on water. When the waves touched alien ships, systems flickered and shut down. Weapons powered off. Engines froze. Shields collapsed. Every alien vessel became helpless. Korvac's voice cracked. They have disabled us without firing." Saris whispered, "This is not a fleet, this is a warning." Lights inside the human ships flared brightly. Weapons charged. The battlefield shook. A single human voice echoed across the system, proceeding with hostility termination. Every alien heart stopped. Humans had arrived. They had come silently. They had come powerfully. And they had come with purpose. The desperate call was not from the aliens. It was not from any empire. It was from humanity itself. Something terrible had driven the humans back into the galaxy, and this battlefield was only the beginning. The moment the human voice ended, the entire Warzone felt different, heavier, darker, almost as if the space itself was holding its breath. The alien fleets, once proud warriors, now floated helplessly, their ships frozen by the strange human energy field. No engine could start. No weapon could charge. No shield could rise. For the first time in months, both the Vordak and the Hellion fleets were completely silent. General Korvac could feel his heart pounding inside his chest. Vordak hearts were strong, built for battle, but right now his pulse felt unsteady. He had survived hundreds of battles, but nothing had ever frozen him like this. On the other side, Captain Saris kept her eyes locked on the giant human flagship. Her tail, long, thin, and normally twitching with precision, was stiff with fear. Hellions were known for their calm in chaos, but this was different. This was something far beyond any battle tactic or weapon she had studied. No one in the galaxy feared silence until the humans brought it. The human fleet held its formation like an unbreakable wall. Every ship moved with perfect timing, perfectly aligned, perfectly positioned. Nothing drifted even a meter off course. It was like watching machines, not living beings. Korvac whispered, "How can they control their ships like that? No drift, no error," his officer swallowed. "Sir, they are not just controlling them, it feels like they share one mind." Saris heard similar reports. One of her technicians said, "Captain, their data signals are linked. All ships are communicating with each other every second. Their coordination is impossible. Impossible, unnatural, human." The old stories came back to her mind, stories Hellion parents whispered to scare their children. Tales of the humans, the strange species that grew too fast, adapted too quickly, learned too much. Some believed humans were cursed, others believed they were blessed, but everyone agreed on one thing: humans never returned weak. They only returned stronger. Captain Saris took a slow breath. "They did not come for us," she said quietly. "Not first. Something else brought them here." Before she could finish her thought, a new signal, sharp and clear, cut across the battlefield. "Human auxiliary detachment, prepare for recon sweep." The voice was calm, too calm. Korvac clenched his teeth. "Recon, they want to scout while we sit here like prey." But humans didn't wait for reactions. Small vessels, sleek, deadly, glowing with blue engines, broke formation and shot forward. They moved like knives cutting through the air, fast enough to leave streaks of light behind them. In seconds, they passed through the battlefield, scanning every ship, every wreck, every drifting body. A Vordak officer shouted, "General, they are scanning our database." Korvac's eyes widened. "Block them, we can't, the systems aren't responding." On the Hellion bridge, the same panic rose. "Captain, they are taking our logs, our weapon specs, our fleet history, everything." Saris had no answer. She couldn't even pretend to have one. The human recon ships returned to their fleet quickly, moving in perfect formation again. Silence followed. Then the flagship broadcast another message. "Data acquired, hostile activity confirmed, proceeding to cleanse." Cleanse, that one word made every alien freeze. Korvac slammed his fist down. "No, they cannot decide our fate, this is not their war." But his voice was powerless. The human fleet began to move. And this time, it wasn't recon, it was execution. The first wave of human ships advanced, massive battleships, carriers, destroyers, and long, spear-shaped vessels whose purpose was unknown. Their engines burned like bright stars, pushing them forward with impossible speed. Then came the sound. A low, heavy hum grew across the entire battlefield, deep enough to shake ship hulls, loud enough to make alien bones vibrate. The hum became louder, building like a storm that had been waiting thousands of years to break free. Saris grabbed the armrest of her chair. "What is that sound?" Her technician whispered, I think it is their weapons charging." Hellion ships had fast, sharp weapons. Vordak ships had heavy, brutal weapons. But human weapons sounded like the whole universe was groaning in fear. Then light. The first blast was not a laser. It was not plasma. It was something new. A beam of energy exploded out of a human destroyer, cutting through space with a bright white glow. It hit a broken asteroid floating between the fleets. The asteroid didn't explode. It vanished, turned into dust, like it had never existed. Korvac stood up, his voice broken. What technology is that?" No one answered. Then the humans fired again. This time, the beam struck a Hellion battleship. The ship didn't even have time to scream. One moment it was there, damaged, broken, but still whole. The next moment it dissolved into billions of glowing particles drifting like dust. The voice from the human flagship was cold, without emotion. One hostile eliminated. The aliens panicked. Captain, they think we are hostiles. General, we must do something. Both sides tried to start their engines. Both sides tried to raise shields. Both sides tried to fire. Nothing worked. The human field still held them like insects in amber. The beams fired again. Another Hellion ship vanished, then a Vordak cruiser, then two more, each shot clean, perfect, silent. Saris felt tears sting her eyes, not from sadness but from pure horror. How can we fight something that destroys ships with one hit? Korvac growled, defeated. We cannot, not now. But the humans weren't attacking randomly. Their fire was precise. They targeted only the ships that had recently sent aggressive signals or fired during the war. They were judging the battlefield like judges at a trial. The Hellions watched helplessly as human beams removed Vordak ships. The Vordak watched as Hellion ships vanished into light. The war between the two empires was ending, not by peace, not by negotiation, but by human judgment. After several minutes of destruction, the human fleet halted fire. A heavy silence swallowed the battlefield again. Smoke, dust, and glowing particles drifted through space like snow. The human flagship broadcast a new message. Punishment level 1 complete, initiating evaluation of remaining entities. Remaining entities, that meant the survivors, the ones still floating, powerless, terrified. Korvac exhaled heavily. They are not killing everyone. Saris nodded slowly. They are choosing. The humans rotated their ships, pointing weapons towards survivors, but they did not fire. Then something changed. A new signal appeared, different, stronger, older. Every alien ship received the same data packet. A symbol flashed on their screens, an eagle with wings spread wide, holding a shield in one talon and a sword in the other. The symbol of humanity's old empire. Every officer stared at it. This was impossible. The old empire had ended millennia ago. Humans vanished after the Great Collapse. Their last colonies went silent. Their cities were abandoned. Their worlds were left empty. But now the symbol burned across the sky like a brand. Then a new voice played, deeper, more emotional. We heard your call, we heard your suffering, we heard your war, we have returned. Every alien ship felt the weight of those words. This galaxy has forgotten what humans are. You have forgotten our laws, you have forgotten our warnings. A pause, a long, cold pause. You will remember. Korvac whispered, what warning? Saris whispered back, what laws? The humans answered, no war shall threaten a protected system. No empire shall violate the outer lines. No species shall endanger the balance. None of the aliens understood. They didn't even know these laws existed, but the humans didn't care. The voice changed again, this time more direct. Prepare for human assistance. Assistance, Korvac blinked. They call this assistance. Saris's hands shook. If this is helping, what does their anger look like? Before anyone could ask more, the human fleet split into formations. Thousands of drones launched from carriers, flying like metal birds across space. They landed on disabled alien ships, repairing critical systems, stabilizing hulls, and sealing breaches. The aliens were stunned. Captain, they are repairing us. General, they fixed our life support. The humans had punished them. Now the humans were saving them. It made no sense, but humans were never known for making simple sense. Then the final message arrived. You have been warned, this war ends now. Human territory begins here. The screen went black. The silence returned, but this silence was different, not fearful, not empty. This silence felt like the first breath before a storm. Something bigger was coming, something far worse. Something that had sent the human fleet back into the galaxy after thousands of years. And in the center of that storm stood humanity. The lights across the battlefield flickered like dying stars. The repairs done by human drones kept the alien ships alive, but no one felt safe. Not the Vordak soldiers, not the Hellion officers, and not even their commanders. Every alien heart beat with the same thought: why did the humans return now? General Korvac stood on his damaged bridge, staring at the massive human flagship. Even from kilometers away, its presence felt heavy like a mountain floating in space. It did not move, it did not speak, it simply watched. Captain Saris on her own bridge felt the same weight. The Hellion crew remained silent, afraid to even whisper. None knew if the humans could hear them. None wanted to take that risk. An hour passed, then two. Tiny drones continued patching ships. Emergency lights flickered like tiny fireflies in the dark. Then, without warning, every display across every alien ship lit up with a single sentence: "Prepare for judgment sequence." The words hung in the air like a blade. Korvac growled, "Judgment? What judgment?" Saris frowned. "Perhaps they will decide who caused the war." But no one was sure. Humans were unpredictable. Their logic was strange. Their emotions even stranger. Aliens had forgotten what humans truly were, but humans hadn't forgotten anything. A second message appeared. "Evaluation protocol beginning. Stand by." A blinding white light flashed across the battlefield. It wasn't a weapon. It wasn't heat. It wasn't radiation. It was something far worse. A scan. A scan powerful enough to break through shields, armor, and mines. It passed through ships like they didn't exist. It read everything: logs, memories, histories, communications, war orders, military secrets. Even private messages were not safe. Every ship shook. Every crew member felt the scan inside their heads like a cold hand searching through their thoughts. Hellions cried out. Vordax roared in pain. Lights flickered and sparks flew. Captain Saris collapsed to her knees, clutching her head. It feels like they're reading us." Korvac groaned loud enough to shake the bridge. Get out of my mind." The scan intensified for a moment, then disappeared. Silence returned. Everyone gasped for breath. Some fainted, some cried, some prayed. Humans had just touched the deepest parts of their ships and their souls. A new voice echoed across the battlefield. This voice was different. It sounded older, sadder, almost tired. "We have seen your war," the aliens froze. "We have seen your destruction, your reasons, your choices, your lies." Hellion officers lowered their eyes, ashamed. Vordak warriors clenched their fists, angry but helpless. "Your conflict threatens the outer lines. Your actions endanger the balance." Korvac whispered, "Outer lines, always the outer lines. What does that mean?" Saris answered quietly, "Old human law maybe, something from the past." The voice continued, "You have forgotten the warnings given long ago, warnings written during the time of the human empire, warnings, no alien had ever heard of them. Then the human flagship broadcast something unexpected, a hologram. A massive hologram projected across the entire war zone, visible even with naked eyes. It showed an ancient galaxy map glowing blue and white. Lines crossed through it like borders drawn by a giant hand. One thick ring circled the outer rim of the galaxy. The outer lines. Saris gasped softly. "So that's what they were protecting," Korvac frowned. "Protecting from whom?" The hologram shifted. Images of massive dark shapes appeared, creatures made of shadow and fire, their bodies twisting like black smoke. The aliens recoiled. Even seeing the shapes made their minds hurt. "The old enemy," the voice said, "the ones who caused the human collapse. Humans didn't leave the galaxy willingly. They were forced out by nightmares no alien wanted to imagine." Captain Saris' face turned pale. "If these creatures made the humans fall, what chance do we have?" Korvac whispered, "None." The hologram vanished. The human voice returned. "Your war has weakened this sector. Your actions opened the door for the old enemy." A chill ran through everyone's bones. "We have returned to seal the door." That explained everything. The human fleet wasn't here to conquer, they were here to prevent something worse, something unspeakable. Then came the sentence no alien expected. "We did not come to kill you, we came to choose you." Choose. The aliens looked at each other in confusion. Korvac growled, "Choose us for what?" Saris whispered, "Maybe to fight." But the truth was far stranger. The human fleet moved, slow, deliberate, unstoppable. The flagship extended massive mechanical arms. Each arm held a glowing sphere of golden light. The humans aimed them toward the alien fleets. Then the voice spoke again. Two great empires fought here. One will rise under humanity's protection. One will fall for its crimes. The Hellions gasped. The Vordax growled. Neither empire knew who would be spared. Your war logs show truth. Your minds reveal guilt. Your history shows your nature. A long silence followed. Then the humans revealed the verdict. Hellion Dominion. Sarah's heart stopped. Your actions were defensive. Your casualties were high. Your attempts at peace were ignored by the Vordax Empire. Saris collapsed into her seat. Relief and disbelief mixed inside her. Her crew cried, hugged, prayed. They were safe. Then the human voice grew colder. Vordax Empire. Korvac braced himself. You initiated aggression. You broke the treaties. You attacked neutral colonies. You will face the consequences. The Vordax bridge trembled. Soldiers shouted. Officers panicked. Korvac clenched his jaw. He stood tall, refusing to show fear. If you will kill us, then do it with honor. Do not shame us further. But humans didn't answer. Instead, something changed. Human drones left Hellion ships and began repairing them faster, stronger engines, stronger shields, stronger weapons. A new power source, new armor plating. Hellions watched in awe. Across the battlefield, Vordax ships flickered as human energy fields tightened around them like chains. Korvac growled, if you will destroy us, then do it. We will die with honor. But that wasn't the human plan. The human voice spoke again. Vordax Empire, you will not die, you will serve. Silence. Korvac blinked. Serve. The humans clarified. You will serve under the human judgment fleet. You will fight the old enemy. Your punishment is duty. A punishment worse than death. A punishment that demanded bravery and suffering. And you will not refuse. Vordax ships shuddered as human technology rewrote their systems. Weapons changed. Engines changed. Entire ship cores rebuilt themselves under human control. The Vordax were being reforged into soldiers of humanity. Hellions watched in shock. Saris whispered, they made us allies and them soldiers, but the humans weren't done. The humans spoke one final time. Your fates are sealed. The human fleet began powering up for hyperspace. Stand ready, the old enemy is coming. The stars dimmed, the sky darkened. A low rumble echoed across the battlefield like something ancient and hungry awakening beyond the void. And then the human voice whispered, humanity has returned and war follows us. The battlefield looked calm now, too calm. The broken ships, the drifting metal, the floating bodies, all of it felt like a frozen picture. But inside every alien heart, fear was rising like a storm. The human fleet had not moved for almost an hour. They stayed in perfect formation, silent and still like statues made of metal and light. No one knew why, not the Vordax who had been forced into service, not the Hellions who had been chosen for protection, not even their commanders. General Korvac stood on his repaired bridge, his eyes fixed on the human flagship. Its engines were silent, but the energy around it felt alive, like a heartbeat pulsing through space. Captain Saris, on her rejuvenated Hellion ship, watched the same flagship with mixed emotions, relief, curiosity, fear. Humanity had judged them and spared them, but she knew humans never acted without reason. Something bigger was coming, something dangerous, something old, and the humans were waiting for it. Star the sky begins to shake. The first sign appeared as a soft vibration, barely noticeable. A small tremor that passed through every ship, every deck, every piece of metal. Engineers checked systems. Technicians studied their consoles. No one found anything. Then the stars began to distort. It started slow, a shimmer like heat waves above a desert. Points of light twisted and stretched. Some blinked out for a second, then returned. The space around the battlefield rippled like water disturbed by a stone. Saris watched closely. This is not natural. Her sensor officer nodded nervously. Something is pushing into real space, but I've never seen this signature. Korvac snarled, We know who it is, the old enemy. His bridge fell silent. Everyone felt the same truth. If this was the thing that once destroyed the human empire, then no race in the galaxy could stop it. Star, the human fleet awakens. The human flagship lit up instantly. All lights, all engines, all weapon systems, every panel across every human ship glowed bright blue as if awakened by a divine command. The silent statues suddenly became living giants. The voice from the human flagship returned, cold, calm, and absolute. Judgment fleet preparing for defense protocol. The humans had been waiting for this. Korvac straightened. So it was not a threat. It was a warning. Saris whispered, no, it was a countdown. The humans weren't judging the aliens for their crimes. They were preparing them for something far worse. Star, the darkness arrives. The distortion in space grew deeper. The nearby stars flickered like dying candles. Even the strongest lights in the system dimmed. The air inside ships felt colder. Then it happened. A tear opened in space. It did not look like a hyperspace jump. It did not look like a wormhole. It looked like a wound, raw and bleeding darkness. A sound followed, even though sound couldn't travel in space. A deep, rumbling growl that vibrated through bones and metal as if the universe itself was speaking. Saris gripped her chair. What kind of creature makes a sound in a vacuum? Korvac answered, voice low, something older than physics. Shapes moved inside the darkness. Not ships, not lights. Shadows. Shadows that moved like smoke and claws and teeth. Shadows with glowing red cracks running through their bodies. Shadows whose forms defied logic, twisting, splitting, merging again. Everyone on every alien ship felt their minds push back in pain. The creature's presence itself was like poison. Hellions screamed. Vordax roared, screens flickered, hull plates rattled, the darkness kept growing, and more shapes crawled out. Star, the human fleet takes position. The humans did not shake. They did not scream. They did not panic. The human fleet moved with mechanical precision, shifting into a formation shaped like a wide shield in front of the alien fleets. The human voice echoed again, louder this time. All alien vessels remain behind the defense line. Korvac shouted, what are they doing? They can't block that thing alone. Saris answered softly, but they will. For the first time, both sides realized a terrifying truth. Humans were not protecting their borders. Humans were protecting everyone, even those they had just judged. Star, the first attack, a shadow creature lunged forward, massive, misshapen, its body made of dark smoke and burning cracks. It screamed a sound that tore through every audio system. The human flagship fired. Not a beam, not a missile, something new. A pulse of white energy shot from its core, silent, clean, smooth. The pulse hit the creature and ripped its body apart, scattering pieces of shadow across the void like dust. But the dust grew back. The creature reformed. Bigger, angrier, Saris gasped. It adapted. Korvac growled, so this is why the humans fell. Another creature leapt from the darkness, slamming into two human cruisers. Their shields burst instantly. Metal groaned. Hulls cracked. The humans responded faster than any species could imagine. Drones swarmed like metal bees, covering the damaged cruisers, welding armor, reinforcing structure in seconds. The human fleet fired again. More white pulses. More beams of light. Some creatures died. Some regenerated, some grew stronger. The battle had only begun. Star, the human commander, speaks for the first time. A new voice came across the battlefield. It was not cold, not mechanical, not emotionless. It was human, and it was angry. This sector is under human protection. All hostile entities will be terminated. The tone sent chills through every alien spine. The old enemy screeched. The human fleet answered with fire. Star, the Vordax forced duty. The human systems unlocked the Vordax engines. Every Vordax ship received a command they could not ignore. Vordax vessels, engage sub-battle role. Korvac slammed his fist. They are forcing us to fight. His officer shouted, General, our guns are moving by themselves. The Vordak ships formed a secondary defensive line behind the humans. Their weapons fired automatically, guided by human AI. The Vordaks were not fighting by choice, but they were fighting with perfect accuracy. Korvac growled, "We are their soldiers now." But deep down, he felt something he hated to admit: pride. To fight alongside humans was an honor even as punishment. Star the Hellions' new role. Meanwhile, Hellion systems flashed. Hellion Dominion, prepare for coordination support. Ceres blinked. Coordination. Her sensors lit up with hundreds of data streams. Human AI connected with Hellion predictive systems, boosting their sensor range, speed analysis, and battlefield intelligence far beyond anything they'd ever experienced. Her officers gasped as they saw the entire battlefield in perfect clarity. "Captain, we can see their weaknesses." Another shouted, "We can track their regeneration rate." Ceres whispered, "They made us their eyes." Humans were using every species like pieces of a grand strategy. Star the Shadow's true form. The darkness pulsed. The wound in space widened. A shape much larger than the others pushed through, a colossus made of pure shadow, its body stretching across thousands of meters, glowing cracks running along its chest like lightning trapped inside a monster. Every alien felt it, a wave of pure terror. Korvac fell silent. Ceres held her breath. The human flagship spoke, primary target identified. The monster roared, shaking the system. Its body expanded, reaching toward the human fleet. And for the first time, humans released their full power. Star human judgment weapons. The flagship's core opened, revealing a blinding sphere of white energy swirling like a miniature star. The energy grew brighter, 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 then a shockwave erupted. Pure white light engulfed the battlefield. Every shadow creature screamed. Every alien ship shook. Every star flickered. The attack wasn't just power. It was judgment. The monster reeled backward, pieces of its massive form disintegrating. The wound in space shrank violently. The smaller creatures exploded into trails of dark smoke. The voice of the human commander echoed, "Judgment protocol successful." Korvac whispered, "This is impossible." Ceres had no words at all. The humans were not just soldiers, not just saviors, not just judges. They were executioners of ancient nightmares. Star the aftermath. The battlefield fell silent. The creatures were gone. The wound in space sealed shut. The stars returned to normal. Human drones finished repairs on all remaining ships, Vordak and Hellion alike. The final message appeared on every screen: Phase 1 complete. Prepare for Phase 2. The war has only begun. The implication struck every heart with the force of a meteor. This was only the first wave. The old enemy was coming back, and the galaxy needed humanity more than ever before. The battlefield was quiet again, but not peaceful. The silence felt heavy, like the whole galaxy was waiting to breathe. The old enemy had been pushed back. The wound in space was sealed. But everyone knew this victory was not the end. It was the beginning. The human fleet hovered in a perfect formation, silent metal giants standing guard over the damaged system. Their lights were bright enough to shine across the debris fields, reflecting on drifting metal and frozen bodies. Every alien ship, Hellion and Vordak, watched them with the same emotion: awe, fear, respect. General Korvac stood on the bridge of his reforged Vordak cruiser. His armor had been enhanced by human drones. Even his ship looked different now. Stronger, more precise, more deadly. He scanned the battlefield. The humans, they pushed back something we could not even understand. His officer nodded slowly. "General, do you think they can win this war?" Korvac stared at the human flagship. "If humanity cannot win, then no one alive can." Across the battlefield, Captain Ceres sat in her command chair. Her ship glowed with new power, human technology humming like a heartbeat. Her crew moved with new confidence. They now held the clearest sensors in the battlefield. She whispered, "Humans repaired us, protected us, used us, and saved us. No race has ever done this." Her officer added, "The humans did not treat us as slaves or equals, but as pieces of their grand plan." Saris nodded, "Because humans do not fight alone, they build armies out of everyone around them." And now the galaxy was becoming humanity's army. Star, the Human Council, speaks. Every display across every ship lit up at once. A new voice echoed, female, calm, and powerful. Judgment Fleet Broadcasting, prepare for council address. A hologram appeared in front of every alien commander. A circle of human figures, tall, armored, faces hidden, stood in a glowing chamber. Each one radiated authority. These were not soldiers, not admirals. They were the Human High Council. The leader stepped forward. Her armor glowed gold around the edges. Her voice filled the ships. "We are the last faces of the old empire. We survived the collapse. We returned to finish what was started." Korvac muttered, "Finally, answers." Saris leaned forward, listening closely. The human leader continued, "For thousands of years, we fought the old enemy beyond your borders. We built weapons you could not imagine. We lost worlds you never knew existed. We bled so you would not bleed." Every alien felt a strange twist in their chest. Humans had been sacrificing themselves for the entire galaxy, and no one even knew. The leader raised a hand. A hologram appeared behind her, showing a massive star map covered in red zones. Now the old enemy grows again. More red territories appeared. "We are here to stop them." Star Humanities demands. The Council's tone changed, becoming sharper, commanding. "The Hellion Dominion." Saris tensed. "You showed restraint in war. You sought peace. You will join as advisors and scouts." Saris exhaled, relieved. "The Vordak Empire." Korvac stiffened. "You broke treaties. You caused chaos. You will serve in the front lines." Korvac lowered his head. "We accept, but the human leader wasn't finished. Both of you will follow human command." Korvac growled softly but did not argue. Saris nodded. "We expected this." The hologram shifted again, showing the symbol of the human empire, a white eagle. "We rebuild today, we expand tomorrow, we fight together the day after." Star Humanity's new fortress, the humans extended their mechanical arms again, this time releasing thousands of dark cubes. The cubes flew into space, combining into massive structures, rings, towers, floating platforms. Hellion sensors scanned them. "Captain, these are star fortresses." Korvac's officers shouted, "General, they are building defenses around us." Humans were turning the battlefield into a fortress, a wall, a shield, a base of operations for the coming war. Saris whispered, "This sector is no longer neutral. It now belongs to humanity." And she was right. A message echoed through the stars. Protected Sector 01 activated. The galaxy now had a new front line. Star, the Vordak's first mission, human ships moved in a new formation. The Council addressed Korvac directly. "General Korvac of the Vordak Empire." His spine stiffened. "I am here. Your people caused much pain. For this, you will be the first to face the coming darkness." Korvac bowed his head. "We will, and we will not run." The hologram shifted, showing a distant dark star system. "Go there, destroy the old enemy presence. You will be guided by human AI." Korvac felt something heavy, responsibility. For the first time in his life, the Vordaks would fight a war that mattered. Star, the Hellion's new role, the Council turned to Saris. "Captain Saris of the Hellion Dominion." She stood tall. "You will guide us with vision. Your sensors will map the movements of the old enemy. You will warn us of every tier in space." Saris felt honored. Her people weren't strong like the Vordaks, but now their minds and technology made them essential. She nodded. "We will not fail humanity." Star, the shadow, responds. Suddenly the lights dimmed. Every ship felt a pressure, a wave of cold energy passing through the battlefield. Something was calling, something big. Human alarms triggered instantly. "Warning, shadow signal detected." Saris sensors screamed with data. Korvac's hull trembled again. A crack appeared in space, not a giant one like before, but small, scouting, testing, searching. Human ships instantly formed a defensive wall. The human commander's voice thundered. The old enemy has sensed our return. They are watching. A shadowy eye appeared in the crack, just an eye glowing red and hateful. Every alien froze. The human commander spoke directly to it. Run back to your masters. The eye shrieked. Tell them humanity is coming. The crack slammed shut. Star Humanity's final declaration. The human council raised their weapons. Lights on the human ships brightened. Drones locked into position. Fortresses activated. Engines roared. And then the final message echoed through the stars. The time of hiding is over. The time of fear is over. The human empire returns to the galaxy today. A pause. A long, powerful pause. Then all species willing to survive will stand with us. The message ended. Silence filled the stars. No one dared breathe. The humans had not just returned, they had claimed the entire galaxy. The final moment, Korvac looked at Saris through the shared holo channel. We follow the humans now, he said quietly. It is not a choice, it is survival. Saris nodded. And maybe hope. Then both commanders looked toward the human flagship. Its engines burned with the light of a rising sun. The voice came one final time. Prepare for deployment. The real war begins now. Human ships jumped into hyperspace. Vordak ships followed. Hellion ships streamed behind them. The galaxy trembled because humanity was leading the charge.